What's up, guys? So, this is my first week driving with Uber and Lyft, and I just wanted to throw out there why or which one I preferred. So, I don't really drive for the money, so that's like one of the that's very important for me to tell you right off the bat because that is the reason why I chose one over the other. Like, I still drive for both of them, but I'm just saying, like, I prefer Lyft over Uber because of the interaction you get with Lyft customers on a consistent basis. You know, they expect to sit in the front seat, even though some of them may sit in the back. Well, actually, I've never had any of them sit in the back. They all want to sit, they all sit in the front. And we carry on good conversations. And because that's why I basically do it, is to meet people. I'm really getting into the minimalist sharing culture, and that's like part of my life right now. And so meeting new people is generally why I do it. Granted, like some of them I do stay contact with, but most of them I don't. But hearing their stories is basically enough for me. So I drive Lyft more than I drive Uber, and it's not because of the area I'm in. There seems to be almost a equal amount of people in Lyft and Uber around here, even though I can sit in my apartment and get Uber hits all day long, like within 5 or 10 minutes of each other with no problem at all. While with Lyft, I have to move from the apartment sometimes. Well, most of the time I have to leave the apartment and go up the street because I live literally in one of the busiest hotspots. So it's really hard for me to get any hits because people surround my area with their cars. And if you don't know how Lyft works or Uber works, they always want to get the closest driver. So when there's cars all around you, you're not likely going to get many riders because they're blocking you out. Until they get a hit and they move, then you won't get those hits. So I always check my map and drive outside of where the cars are to get the hits. That includes Fridays and Saturday nights. Now, the best thing about that is when you drive outside of the hot zone, then people are trying to get into the hot zone. So my average fare would be about 7 to 10, $12 because people were outside of the hot zone trying to get into the hot zone. And since I basically couldn't drive outside of get to where my favorite spot where the Wi-Fi is because I set up in at a Wi-Fi spot. I couldn't get there because every time I would leave the hotspot area, someone would would ping me, and I would have to go grab them and then take them into the hotspot and then come back, and that for me worked perfectly. And I did that for, I want to say, about an hour Friday night, and I made close to, I want to say, 150, 130 for about an hour worth of work, just driving them back and forth to the hotspot. And that was it. I would not take hits while I was in the hotspot because I knew they only wanted to go inside the hotspot. So grabbing people from outside of the hotspot worked. Now back to why I liked Lyft better. And like I said, with Lyft, and it's not that you don't get this with Uber. You do get it with Uber, but it's rare. Like people with Uber, they want a taxi. They don't want a friend with a car like Lyft. They want to sit in the back seat and maybe be quiet, read something, anything like that. They don't really expect too much interaction. I noticed that with them. Like I get quite a few Asians use uh Uber around here, so most of them don't speak English, and if they do, it's bad English. So they choose a taxi that they don't have to talk to that much, which is all right. It's just a little strange for me because I'm like, hey, come sit in the front seat, and they're like, no, no, we sit in the back, and then one guy will sit in the back, and they'll just be back there quiet, which is okay, I guess, but I'm in it to hear people's stories more than I am to about making money. and that's why I prefer Lyft. So a lot of times I'll get tons of Ubers, and then I'll just stop taking the Ubers because I don't too much enjoy riding people without talking to them in my car as much as I enjoy like with Lyft. I don't enjoy that as much with Uber, so I'll drop them off and then I'll just turn off my Uber app and turn on my Lyft app because I'm not looking for a Lyft, more like a lifting conversation or someone I could talk to for a little bit while I'm dropping them off, hear how their day going, hear a little bit about their past, so that's what I'm about, is them telling me their story. And for me, that's why I like Lyft better than Uber. Now, is they tell me that Uber makes more money than Lyft, which is true. You do make more money on average with Uber, and I get more hits right off the bat without moving with Uber, opposed to I have to move around quite a bit to get lifts to get lifts. Like I said, I have to go outside of the circle of doom, and then I'll get a bunch of hits. Other than that, if I stay here, like I prefer to do, is just sit in my house with my phone on and watch TV or play video games or something until someone hits me, and then I go out and grab them. But that would be my video on why I prefer Lyft over Uber. I can't really give you a pros and cons video because I haven't been doing it that much. I mean, I haven't been doing it that a lot lately. If you don't mind driving, it won't bother you. If you don't mind having strangers in your car or striking up random conversations with people, it won't bother you. I've noticed that around here, I don't have to wait a long period of time for a Lyft because of where I live or Uber. So I don't have to worry about the whole sitting and waiting thing, waiting, playing on my laptop or something. I never have to deal with that. When I decide to do it, I go out and I'm maybe out for like 5 minutes before someone hits me to take them somewhere. And that just happens to be like the city that I live in. But there you have it, guys. That's why I like Lyft better than Uber. Um, if you have any questions, like I said, I'm a beginning driver, so there's not very many questions I can answer for you besides getting started. Things that you might want for your car or something like that. I'll make a separate video for that. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. Talk to you later.